Across the screen, Part 2. Lina's message had been a turning point. After days of tension and uncertainty, she and Alex finally sat down for a heart-to-heart conversation, albeit through the screen. They both laid their feelings bare, admitting their fears and insecurities. Alex apologized for his distant behavior, explaining the pressure he felt from work. Lina confessed her jealousy and how she had let it cloud her judgment. They agreed to make more time for each other and to communicate openly, no matter how difficult the topic is. Slowly, the warmth returned to their conversations. The laughter that had once filled their calls came back, and the connection they feared losing grew stronger. They even started planning their next meeting, this time in Nepal, where Alex would get to experience Lina's world. For a while, everything seemed perfect. They were in sync again, their love thriving despite the miles between them. But just as they began to settle into this new phase of their relationship, something unexpected happened. Lina's past reappeared in her life. One evening, Lina received a message from Rohan, an old friend from Nepal with whom she had once shared a deep connection. They had lost touch years ago, but Rohan was now back in the country and wanted to reconnect. Lina, seeing it as a harmless catch-up, agreed to meet him for coffee. She mentioned it casually to Alex, not thinking much of it. However, Alex's reaction was far from casual. His jealousy flared up, fueled by his insecurities about their long-distance relationship. The thought of Lina spending time with someone who had once meant so much to her made him anxious, and he couldn't shake the feeling that Rohan's reappearance was a threat to their relationship. "Why do you need to meet him, Lina?" Alex asked during their next call, his voice tinged with irritation. "It's not like you guys are close anymore." Lina was taken aback by his tone. "He's just a friend, Alex. There's nothing to worry about. I just want to catch up with him, that's all." But Alex couldn't let it go. His mind kept returning to the possibility that Lina's feelings for Rohan might resurface. Over the next few days, the issue became a source of constant friction between them. Alex's jealousy grew, and Lina began to feel suffocated by his distrust. One night, after a particularly heated argument, Alex finally said what had been on his mind for days. "Maybe we should take a break, Lina. I can't do this anymore. I can't deal with the thought of you with someone else." Lina's heart sank. She had never intended for Rohan's reappearance to cause such turmoil in their relationship. She wanted to explain, to make Alex understand that her heart belonged to him and no one else. But the words didn't come out right. Every attempt to reassure him seemed to make things worse. "Alex, please don't do this," she pleaded, tears welling up in her eyes. "Rohan means nothing to me compared to you. You're the one I love." But Alex was too consumed by his jealousy to listen. "I can't do it, Lina. I can't keep wondering if you're thinking about him when you're with me." Lina felt a deep sadness wash over her. She knew Alex was speaking from a place of hurt, but she didn't know how to fix it. She had tried to reassure him, but it seemed like every word only pushed him further away. After a long, painful silence, Alex finally said the words Lina had been dreading. "Maybe it's better if we end things here, Lina. I don't want to keep hurting you, and I don't want to keep hurting myself." Lina's breath caught in her throat. She wanted to fight for their relationship, to convince Alex that they could work through this. But she also knew that if he didn't trust her, there was little she could do to change his mind. With a heavy heart, Lina agreed. "If that's what you want, Alex, then okay, I'll respect your decision." Their relationship, once so full of promise and love, ended with a few simple words exchanged over a call. As they said their final goodbyes, both Lina and Alex were left with a sense of loss, knowing that their love had been real, but that they hadn't been able to overcome the challenges life had thrown their way. Lina hung up the phone, feeling a deep ache in her chest. She knew it would take time to heal, but she also knew that sometimes, even the deepest love wasn't enough to keep two people together. And as she looked out at the night sky, she silently wished Alex well, hoping that one day they would both find peace with what had happened. After the breakup, Lina decided to give Alex some space, hoping that a few days apart might allow them both to cool down and rethink their decisions. She missed him terribly, but she knew that pressuring him wouldn't help. Instead, she focused on herself, trying to find some sense of normalcy in her daily routine. But as the days passed, Lina's anxiety grew. She had expected to hear from Alex, or at least see him reach out, but there was only silence. Finally, after a week, she decided to contact him, determined to clear the air and see if there was still a chance for them. Lina called, but Alex didn't answer. She tried messaging him, but her texts went unanswered. It wasn't until she tried calling him from a different number that she realized he had blocked her. Panic set in as she scrolled through social media, only to see Alex posting pictures of himself partying with new friends, surrounded by girls. Each photo felt like a dagger to her heart, and the realization that Alex was moving on so quickly was almost too much to bear. As if the emotional turmoil wasn't enough, Lina noticed something else she had missed her period. At first, she tried to dismiss it as stress, but as the days went on, the possibility of being pregnant became impossible to ignore. Her mind raced with fears and what-ifs. She tried reaching out to Alex again, hoping against hope that he would respond, but all her attempts were in vain. He had completely shut her out. Unable to bear the uncertainty any longer, Lina bought a pregnancy test. Her hands trembled as she took it, her heart pounding in her chest. She waited for what felt like an eternity, staring at the test as it slowly revealed its answer. Positive. Lina's world crumbled around her. She was pregnant, and the man she loved was out of reach, living a life that seemed to have moved on without her. The reality of the situation hit her like a tidal wave, leaving her breathless and paralyzed with fear. She couldn't think, couldn't process what this meant for her future. Sitting alone in her room, the positive test still in her hand, Lina felt a deep sense of isolation. She had no idea what to do or how to move forward. All she knew was that her life had changed in an instant, and she was left to face it alone. Tears streamed down her face as she thought of Alex, the man she had once believed she would spend her life with, now unreachable, seemingly uncaring. The pain of his betrayal was unbearable, but the thought of what lay ahead navigating this new reality on her own was even more terrifying. In that moment, Lina knew she had to find the strength within herself to face whatever came next. But the path ahead was uncertain, and she couldn't help but feel lost, overwhelmed by the weight of what the future might hold. In her despair, Lina yearned for someone to talk to. She reached out to her best friend, Maya, who had always been her confidant through life's ups and downs. After an emotionally charged phone call where Lina poured out her heart, Maya listened with empathy and concern. "You're not alone in this, Lina," Maya said gently. "You need to talk to Alex in person. It's the only way to make him understand the gravity of the situation and how much it means to you. Sometimes, face-to-face conversations can change everything." Lina considered Maya's suggestion. The idea of confronting Alex directly, especially after he had blocked her and seemed to have moved on, was both daunting and hopeful. But she trusted Maya's judgment and decided to take her advice. If there was even a small chance that meeting Alex could help him understand her situation and perhaps rekindle their connection, she had to try. The next few days were a whirlwind of preparation for Lina. She arranged her travel back to Switzerland, determined to speak with Alex and share the news about the pregnancy. She hoped that by meeting him in person, she could convey the seriousness of their situation and possibly find a resolution. When Lina arrived in Switzerland, her heart pounded with anticipation and anxiety. She went to the places where she knew Alex often hung out, hoping to find him. Her search led her to a cozy cafe near the mountains, a place they had visited together. There, she spotted Alex sitting with a group of friends. Taking a deep breath, Lina approached the table. Alex looked up, his expression shifting from surprise to confusion as he saw her standing there. She could see the tension in his eyes, but she couldn't turn back now. "Alex," Lina began, her voice trembling but resolute, "I need to talk to you. It's important." Alex's friends noticed the tension and quietly excused themselves, leaving Lina and Alex alone. The silence between them was thick with unspoken words. Lina took a seat across from him, her hands clasped tightly together. "I know you're probably wondering why I'm here," Lina said, struggling to keep her voice steady. "But there's something you need to know. I'm pregnant." The words hung in the air, and Alex's eyes widened in shock. His expression shifted from confusion to concern as he processed what Lina had just said. "I wanted to tell you in person because I felt you deserved to know," Lina continued. I understand if you're angry or upset with me, but this is something we both need to face together. I still love you, and I hoped we could find a way to work through this." Alex sat in stunned silence, his mind racing. He looked at Lina, seeing the vulnerability and pain in her eyes. The reality of the situation began to sink in, and he felt a mix of emotions, regret, confusion, and a lingering affection for her. I don't know what to say," Alex finally replied, his voice barely above a whisper. "This is a lot to take in. I've been so caught up in my own feelings that I didn't see the bigger picture." Lina reached across the table, her eyes pleading. "Please, Alex, just listen. I didn't come here to cause trouble or to force you into anything. I just wanted you to know that this is real and that we need to decide together." For a moment, Alex looked away, grappling with his emotions. He thought about their past, the love they shared, and the pain of their recent breakup. It was clear that this was a turning point, but he wasn't sure if he was ready to face it. "I need time to process this," Alex said finally. "I need to think about what this means for us and for the future." Lina nodded, her heart heavy but hopeful. "Take whatever time you need, Alex. I just wanted to make sure you knew the truth." With that, Lina stood up to leave. As she walked away, she couldn't shake the feeling of uncertainty. She had done everything she could to communicate the seriousness of the situation, but the outcome was now in Alex's hands. The next few days were filled with anxious waiting. Lina focused on taking care of herself and preparing for whatever the future might hold. She knew that regardless of Alex's decision, she had taken the right step by confronting the situation head-on. Thank you so much for being a part of this journey. If the story touched your heart, please like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the next part of Across the Screens. Your support means the world to me.